Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor with a Friday's episode of What's on the Bench. I have to apologize in advance. I got a little bit down on Wife's Choice, but not a whole lot. I really got excited about this Buick, which happens. You start on something just gets you, and this one did. I don't know why. I have built this kit years ago. And I don't remember it being this fun. But then again, I didn't have all the detail arsenal that I have now, the skill level and everything else. And that very well could have been. But I'm telling you what, I am not far from completion. Literally all I have left to do is some paint, some detail paint. And paint meaning paint the body and the decals and clear coat. The interior is painted. It's still got to be detail painted, but we're going to go over it all, and then a couple other little quick things, and then we'll let y'all get going with your weekend. I know it's Friday. Everybody's excited. It's the weekend. It's another day to me, but maybe I can get down in here tomorrow and. If I can get the paint laid down, then Sunday I can get the decals laid down, and Monday I can clear coat. That would be awesome, because then I would roughly be about 90% complete. I did make a change. I decided not to chrome the wheels. I matted them out. I am going to chrome the lug nuts, just to kind of pull that chrome around the side a little bit. But we're going to mat out the trim around the windows, the drip rail, the door handles, locks, so on and so forth. That's going to be matted out also. And I may do those semi-gloss. The piece of chrome that goes underneath the hood, I said before I was going to mat it out. I'm not, because that actually is part of the surround of the grill, so I don't want to change that. I want that chrome in the front, chrome in the back, and little hints of chrome on the side. Black underneath the hood, black trim over the body, the black stripes, everything kind of over and top, around, underneath, everything pulls together. This is going to be a slick build. If I can get this done, I will bring this one to Acme with me also, if it turns out good enough. I do have a lot of little touch up to do, but it's nothing major. But I got all my components, everything I'm putting into it. So that's what we're going to go over. And then I'm going to put it together real quick and let you guys take a look at a dry mock-up and see for yourselves. So there's the body. The body is in primer, engine compartments painted. I will not. I got to mask this back off before I paint the body and clear, because I do not want it shiny. I want it matte black. We're going to go over here. So in the front suspension, I told you I'm going to have to modify it. I had to raise them 1/4 inch. So that's what I did. You can kind of see how I raised the spindle, and then I reinforced it in the back. They are pinned, and I bent the wire up. That way I never have to worry about it breaking off, anything like that. This side, it kind of warped in, so I had to put a wedge in there. You'll never see it when the tire's on and the engine's in. And I mean, you can't see it, from underneath or anything like that. So that worked out really good, because this spindle was leaning in this way, which would have caused the tire to lean like my finger is. Now the tire will stand up straight. Rear suspension, we use the stock springs. Let's see if we can get in there so you can see them. There you go. We narrowed the differential about 3/16 of an inch on each side, give or take. We did get it to line up. I don't have to worry about cutting out access for the drive shaft to fit down through there. You have to, well, it's not going to focus. Get it to block the light. There you go. You can kind of see. So the drive shaft, it does line up perfect. I can even prove it. Maybe. I'm not good with one hand. Let's try this again. Even though it's going, there. you can see, I mean, I'm on top of the trans mount. It'll be up, you know, I'm on the bottom of it. It'll go up inside there. But you can see it lines up. Everything's good. I will make an aluminum drive shaft. It also is going to get a, as far as underneath, other than come back highlight and bolts and everything else, it's going to get a diff cooler. So I'll mount the diff cooler back up here and run the hoses to the pump. It'll have the pulleys and the belt on the diff cooler. We're leaning more towards Pro Touring versus Resto Mod, but this kit allowed me just to go, and very quickly. Literally, this is the second day I've worked on it. That's how fast this thing went. I mean, it's once you got a plan in your head and you execute it and everything goes good, that helps a lot. And in this case, it did. I've mocked it up 4 or 5 times. Fits together beautifully. There is a slight warpage in the ass end of the car. You can kind of see it. This side is a little higher, but once it's married to the body, and this one I'll glue together just to pull that warp out of it. I may heat it up a little bit and see if I can't manipulate it a little bit too, but it's not horrible by any means. But yeah, so you know, remember we're using, I think these are 24-inch tires in the rear. So I didn't have to drop the suspension super low to get it to sit low, if you know what I mean. The stock springs and stock height lets those tires saddle right in there. Now you can see where I had to notch away all this material to fit those big tires in there. But once those tires are in there, give you an example. All you see is that little bit. And I'll come back in. There's nothing you can't see back here. But in the front, you can. And a little bit on top back here. So I'll fill that in. And then I'll touch it up. And you know, none the wiser. But now you can see my tire fits inside that wheel well. I've just got my finger holding it so it doesn't fall out and break. And actually there's space between the tire and the frame. The tire actually wouldn't rub. Here's one of the back wheels, now that we got them matted out. You see how nice they look after they're painted. And here's one of the front ones. And you're going to get to look at it. Like I said, I'm going to slap it together here in a minute and let you see it. But again, that's all we did. And I like the detail because it's got the rear sway bar. So I figure if it's got that, and it's got a lot of nice little bolt detail here and there that I can pick out with the one of those tiny brushes and some Molotow. And come through, and I may even do aluminum and do the straps on the gas tank just for a change of pace. But then touch up all the bottom of the shock detail, so on and so forth. This will get a satin, they call it varnish, but clear coat, satin clear coat over that. And it's not going to change the looks of it much. Man, that is awesome. I love that. If these kits weren't so expensive, I'd buy a bunch of these just to hack these off to use for like a GTO, Chevelle. What else is in that body style? Even like in the 70s, the Tempest or Le Mans kind of looked like a Nova, but it's Tempest Le Mans. And maybe even a Nova would fit good underneath. I just hack that sucker straight off right here and then pile them up. Maybe even make a mold of it for some resin casting. But anyways, maybe I'll get lucky and find just the chassis and I'll make a mold and we'll try that. Back over here. So as you can see, there's my drive shaft. Starter. The engine is in the 3D printer right now printing. I've got 3 variations I can use. I just don't know which one I'm going to use yet. There's just little differences in them anyways. There's my heater hoses. There's my seat belt material. This is all my seat belt hardware. As you can see, I label everything. And this has got miscellaneous stuff in it, so I always get that out for every build. The mirrors are pinned. That way I can just put them in place and not worry about them. They'll never get glued on. Here's the shocks. I'm going to paint the shocks. I just don't know what color yet. I've not found ladder bars yet. I'm still looking. There's a pulley assembly, like I said, we're going to use. I may not have to use that, but I painted it anyways. I still haven't figured out what that is. There's the master cylinder. I got to paint, all the detail on it. Brakes and rotors are done. There's the MSD box. There's my heater or radiator hoses. You got the fittings on them ready to go. I think I'm going to do those in red anodized, or I may leave them chrome. I haven't made up my mind yet. There's a fuel filter. And remember, guys, this is offthesprue.com. He carries these. They're little, whatever they're calling, resistors or whatever. These things work great, and if you use the yellow clear over that, it looks like there's fuel in there. So it's a really quick little trip. And these are super soft. You can bend them, manipulate them however you want them. There's our battery cables. If you look down in there, you can see the connectors are molded in, so I'm going to leave them. I'll just paint them. Like I said, I'm going to highlight that Delco and paint the caps red. That cap, that hose detail there will get covered up with a real piece of hose, which is, here we go. I'm running out of space here. Let's move the chassis over to here. Move my seatbelt material so you guys can get a gander. Oh, I had it right the first one. So there we go. There's the heater box. The holes are drilled out. I got to touch up the paint on this, guys, so don't yell at me for that. Looks gross. Here's the wires are in. I still got to put them in the bottom holes. They're just drying right now. Paint the top of that little box silver. That way it pops out. And there's the washer pump hose. That'll go back to that tank and cover up the molded in detail. I'll put a couple straps on it, add a little more detail. There's the booster. We will drill that out right there where you see it sticking up right there. And we'll put a little rubber hose coming out of that up to the intake somewhere for the vacuum advance on the brakes. And then I'll pick out the little bolts because they are prominent. Let's see what else. We got our electric fan ready to go. I've got it drilled for the red and black wire that'll go up to the battery. This will get painted a couple shades of like steel or aluminum, something like that. These are some aftermarket parts. A gentleman was asking me what aftermarket vendors I use. I pretty much use them all. I love ProTech and Detail Masters. There's the battery. I'm going to try to see if I can fit the hold down on the battery. If I can, I'll add that detail. If it's too tight in there, I will not. There is the diff cooler and the pulleys and belts. We are definitely using that. These are from Off the Sprue also. These are like breather caps or oil fill tubes, whatever it is. I'm going to cut them off, make them short, and I'll stick them down through the valve covers as breathers. And depending on which engine I use, I may use these pulley faces to add a little character to the front of the engine. This is, I don't want to show you that yet. This is the great thing. So here's the steering wheel. Nothing great about that, but I'll pick out all the detail. So I was, just messing around, starting to get parts out. I'm like, what? I don't even know what I'm going to do to this thing. The interior, it lacks, to say the least. And then I was like, holy crap, I forgot. I got a file that are interior speakers. And I filled the whole build plate up with a bunch of different speakers, resized a bunch of different stuff. And then I said, crap, I'll print that out. So I did. And this is the result. This car is getting a full, complete sound system in it. The little hole here, that's for a mid-range. This will be full range back here with a tweeter. Mid-range and a tweeter. 6x9s and an amp in the middle. And I already got the hole drilled for the wires to go down. Same, mirrored both sides, just like if it was a real car. So this thing will have, a complete sound system in it. Now, this is what I was hiding. I have this. These are more for subs, and I did print out some of the big subs, but I'm not opening the trunk where you can see them, or putting them in the back seat. This, however, I forgot I had these. They're littler speaker grills. I want to see. I haven't tried them yet, but I want to see if these fit over the speakers. If they do, I may put those over it just to give that depth, that three-dimensional look, to make them, look as real as possible. I'm gonna have to put you back up here. I should have got the bigger tripod out today. And I'm just gonna show them to you this way. I need my glasses because these things are tiny, 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 tiny. And I need my tweezers. I was prepared today, guys. Believe it or not. Also, Jay Hart, he's here on YouTube. Big shout out to him. He had a file out of some interior doorknobs. Give you a gander of what they look like. I printed a full build plate full of them. I forgot I had those. So those will get chromed up and the knobs painted black, and those will get in. And they actually stick out, so you get that three-dimensional. And everything's already drilled out for the door handles also. So all I gotta do is just paint these, chrome, let them dry, and then I'll come back with a teeny brush and hit the knobs and the base around the crank where it goes up against the door panel. So it'll have, window cranks on both sides, which is just a cool detail. And he doesn't print or design a lot of stuff, but I think he's working on stuff, which is cool. The other thing is, I'm only going to get one of them out, are these little sun visors. Now these are like GM style, but you can see, maybe not. There you go. You can see it's even got the mounting bracket and a little arm that goes up to the visor. So, this little piece sticking down here, again, that little piece sticking down there, it's got to be sanded a little bit, and it is fiddly, so you got to be careful, but I got plenty of spares. I'll paint all that chrome, and then a dull aluminum where the screw heads are, and then the sun visors will match the interior, which is black. These will get painted probably a satin semi-gloss. It depends on the ray how I do the interior. I am two-toning it, but in shades of black. So here is the full range speaker. They're so tiny, guys. Let me see if I can get a bite on it. There we go. We'll get it up there. There you go. And it's primarily just bass. Bass and full range, and then a tweeter above it to pull out the high pitches. So there'll be one of those on each side in the back. Get in here so I can get them. This is one of the 6x9. Well, it was one of the 6x9s. There we go. One of the 6x9s. And we can lay that in there and you can kind of get a good... My holes are almost too big, but they just cover it. So you can see. Now this is the first time I've done this. I have glued just the speaker grills in to give the appearance of speakers, but actually cutting all the holes, doing all that measuring, and it only took me about an hour by the time I cut all the holes, sanded everything, dry fitted everything, make sure that was good, and that was it. I mean, and it was worth it just to get that appearance, even though it will be hard to see. Okay, these are the mid-range. These go in the front. They kind of match the 6x9s as far as the looks. And there'll be one of these go in on each side of the front. And then these are the tweeters. There's 4 of them total. 2 in the back, 2 in the front. I sized those down just right. And I got lucky again on scaling them down. Let me hold on to them with something here. Well, I'm jumping around so much so it's not going to focus. But you can see how tiny they are. There's my tip of my pinky to that speaker. So, like I said, there's going to be 4 of those. You saw the door handles. Oh, here's the amp. I have 3 styles of amp that came in this file. And all this stuff was like for RCs and 1/10 scale. And I just scaled it down. You know, not a big deal. I still got to drill the holes for the wires in the side here. But this will get chromed on both sides and then black through the center. Kind of represent an old Alpine amp. You know, it's got detail on its own. Little grooves and channels and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's it. The complete stereo system. I do have aftermarket stereo faces. This is really tiny in here. And, you know, he didn't want to destroy the dashboard by cutting it out and putting a bigger stereo in it. So we're going to say the main stereo is in the glove box. Got to roll with something. But I will detail paint this one up. We do have gauges to put down in there. I've still yet to decide how I'm going to do the faces around each gauge. I think I will leave those black. And there's a raised border around that. We may do that in aluminum. And then pick out all the other little details with a Molotov button. And then there's a little decal that goes right there on the dash also. So we got that. The seats are done. They just got to be, like I said, I think I'm going to do the leather part and the headrest in like a satin. And leave the center as matte, just to give that appearance of a two-tone. Even though the real car, it would have all been that pleather anyways, you know. But just to give a little variance in textures, I guess I should say. So, you know, the moment you guys have all been waiting for. So bear with me just a second here. I do got to do this first. Alright, so you can see too, I already added, there was detail wiring on the other side. So I said I got to mask all this off because I jumped ahead a little bit. But I masked this off to prime the main body, so it was no big deal. But I got some wires right in there, and you'll see a little bit back on the firewall. And that's it really, because there's really no others other than me adding the battery cables. So there's no need to go crazy and add a lot of extra stuff and make it so busy underneath there. Just so you guys can see, since we did a review on this too. Hood foot's really nice. Now keep in mind, you know, I got the tachometer on there. And there is a gauge for that, or decal, I'll put that on there. We are going to we'll black wash these vents. And we'll paint these flat black in here after we get clear coat done. That way they stay matte. This panel right here that the wiper blades and wiper arms are laying on, that'll get chromed. Normally on the car it'd be like a polished aluminum, piece of aluminum in there. I may come back and do that in the satin black along with the trim around the windows. And so that, since we don't have that, I don't want just a big piece of chrome right there. Normally I would, if I was doing chrome trim around the windows, that would get chrome too. But I think we are going to go the route of, I still got to manipulate this wire and put some straps down on it. So there's like there's 2 straps molded in, so we'll put 2 straps on it. And then of course all the inside of here I'll hand brush paint the headliner and down the A pillars and the B pillars and up and around. The dome light, well, like I said, we'll put a little chrome paint around that, paint the center white, and put a dollop of Mod Podge on there. Let that dry clear to look like a lens. again, like I said, I know it's there, so it's like, might as well go ahead and do it. So let's get this married together here. I don't want to bore you with all the technicalities. This is a lot easier now than it will be when it's time to put on. Alright. Let me put this stuff away real quick before I knock it off and lose it. And you can see I keep all the speaker stuff and stereo stuff, interior stuff inside this little bag. It's easier so I don't lose it, because if I leave it lay around, it's exactly where it'll go. Same way as the seatbelt ribbon will be black. I know there's a lot of black in there, but I don't want to make it too goofy looking. Seal that up, get that out of the way. Get those out of the way. We'll move that out of the way. These components, and show you before, there's the upper A arms. They are painted. They just need to go in. They don't really do anything. I'm not going to put the rotors on, but I will show you what the rotor looks like in place and behind the wheel. Nice look. And these are pegged. Not the best, but there's a little like cup in the center, and these have a little nipple on the top of them. What I do is, since the way I do them is, I'll super glue that in first and let that get good and dry, and then all I gotta do is set it over the spindle with super glue, put all 4 tires on, set it down, let it get balanced out, and let it dry, and then I know it's going to rest on all 4 tires. So now you've seen all this stuff going into it. You want to see a kind of mock-up of the that's how wide those back tires will be, guys. Just with a little work. Didn't have to modify a lot. I mean, I did grind out and then measured and grinded and measured until I got them just where they sit in there, and that's kind of where they'll sit. I can't do any more because this plastic body is super thin, and I would have had to grind on the inside of this wheel well here, and it would have come right through and destroyed the body. So I had to just stop there. But it is going to have a hell of a rake, and you'll see here in a minute. Get the mirrors out of the way. I don't want to lose those. Double check it. Yep. Now this is sitting on a paper towel, but that is the thickness of a paper towel is the difference between the bottom of that chin spoiler and the ground. I mean, speed bump will rip it right off. That's how she'll sit. That's exactly what I wanted. And like I said, it ended up going more Pro Touring than Resto Mod. But really, in the truth of it, it is a Resto Mod because we didn't put a tubular chassis underneath it. Tubular A-arms, a 4-link. We didn't, I mean, I did kind of tub it out. I'm making, small tubs. But all I'm doing is adding styrene back in. And that's my next step here today. So for the Diorama Gastronites, I got a file for the Christmas tree. Now there's decals I got to get made, put on here. This is all got to get painted, and there's little like squares to go up, a white panel that goes behind this, so the lights reflect more one way than the other, and a black panel back here, or vice versa. I can't remember. I got pictures to go by. And all this will have to be sanded and everything. This is too small. I have to size it up a little bit more. But this was just the test print, and this is fiddly taken off of it. This right here was a 9-hour print. That's because I had it angled a lot, so there's a lot of support, and I can go back in when I change it and rescale it I can lessen that and probably maybe drop an hour or two off the print time. We'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. But, that's a feature. Everything else is going to be, scratch made. I do have a barrier file, so I'll be 3D printing the barriers to go down both sides. The barrier in the center, and there'll be decals I got to have made to put on those. I have to scratch build the building. There'll be some fencing, and then the grandstands. Those will all be scratch built. Now, mind you, I'm only building part of it because it's not going to be the full length drag strip. It's just going to be pretty much probably 4 car lengths, maybe past the Christmas tree, and then a little bit on the backside behind the bleachers. There'll be the bathrooms, a snack shack, and the marquee that I'll use those letters that Mark sent me, saying Gastronites, or Friday night Gastronites, Saturday night Gastronites, one of the 2 days. Friday night's usually test and tune, so it'll probably be Saturday night. We have 6 gassers, 4 actual kits that are gassers, and then 1 I'm going to convert to a gasser, and another one I'm going to kind of be scratch building it into a gasser. I do have a gasser front suspension and rear suspension file that I'm going to be using on both of those, which are really cool. That's a 4-link, and then the curved springs in the front and the straight axle and the components. That'll be very fiddly, so I'll probably have to bust up 5 or 6 of them just to get one. That's usually how it goes. I will be getting back on Wife's Choice. I just got so excited about this. I hope you can see why. It just clicked. The minute I was like, well, I'll go ahead and jump into this. I didn't have a lot of time. I had like an hour and a half before I had to go do something else. And I was like, bam. I cut out the flaps in the front. I was like, well, that went really quick. It took me like 2 minutes. And I'll show you this, guys. If you don't have one, most of you I know do. This little Keshi. This little thing. And I got, where'd it go? No, it's not it either. Oh, here they are. These carbide tips. This, using any one of these, will make waste of a piece of styrene in a split second. That's how I cut all that stuff out. That's how I drilled my holes. That's how I did everything. I just, I measured and I marked with my little red marker where she's at. Here she is. Put a little dot, and I hand drilled the hole first to start it, and then put the bigger drill bit that I needed in here, and right in, worked it around a little bit, pulled it out. I mean, just matters of seconds for each step that I did. Like that whole interior, like I said, took me about an hour and a half later yesterday, and I was done. Sanded, smooth, ready to go. Speakers cut loose, dry fitted, make sure they work. Only took a few minutes. The chassis, like I said, I've worked on it this morning for about 2 hours. I got the body primered. I primered I painted all the suspension yesterday and the tires and wheels. But this, this little tool right here, man, 3 settings. That's low, medium, and high. And to do everything I did here, that with a full charge, it wore down. It doesn't hold charge super long, but it doesn't take very long to charge back up. USB and little phone box, and it's good to go. So again, thank you to all my past and present subscribers. Drop me a sub. It's free. Throw your comments down there in the descriptions. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hit those bell notifications. I may give a little update on this on Monday. I don't really have anything coming in the mail that I'm aware of. I think there's a couple shop cards lingering out there, but I haven't gotten them yet. So, like I said, Wednesday there'll be no video. I apologize, but I just got so much going on. Next Thursday is my surgery, so Wednesday is going to be busy. Monday we will have Mental Monday. Friday, if I'm up to it, we will do the video on Friday. Anything, if I can get down here and work on this. this kind of just took top priority. I know I jumped way out of space, but it's going so fast and so smooth. I want to keep going on. If not, it'll sit there on the back burner, and I won't finish it. And anything Mark sends me, I kind of like to finish it. I don't want to just, oh, well, thank you, and and then you guys are like, huh, you ever gonna finish that? No, we're gonna finish this one because it's going smooth. And given this another hour or two, I may come back and go ahead and get the paint laid down tonight on the body. That way, if there's any imperfections, I can wet sand it and paint some more. And then Saturday, it may be laying decals. That's what I may just do Saturday. Take a couple hours, come down here and lay down all the decals on everything that needs decals, paint the interior pieces, have them drying. That way, that's just ready for assembly. Paint the speakers, so on and so forth. I still got a little sanding to do on the speakers, so that will take a little while. But again, let me know if a thumbs up, thumbs down, drop your comments. There's been 5 definite entries into the Hot Wheels replica group build. Hot Wheels replica group build 2022. 5 definite. I know of a few others. They've not submitted yet. Like I said, you have up till the day before the 26th. You have till the 26th to get those entries into me, so I know you're in it. If you want to stand alone and you don't want to get involved in all this, I guess that's fine too. There's no reason why not to just drop me an email and say, hey, here's my paints, here's my Hot Wheel, whether it's a pick or the actual Hot Wheel, here's my model kit. Put me in by the 26th. If you guys are waiting on wheels, get the rest of your stuff entered. That way you're in it. Then I know you're waiting on wheels. You will have a week or two after. I'd like everybody to try to finish up on my birthday, December 27th. That way, we're done with it and go on. But I know there's people and time and life. I get all that. That's why I'm giving a couple extra weeks. But get everything else into me. You should have your model kit, your Hot Wheel picked out, and your colors, even if you're just waiting on wheels. Get that information into me via email. That way I'll put you in. And I've got a notebook here. Tonight's chore is to get those first 5 written down in here. And then I got to get their pictures they sent me. I'll probably just put it in a collage at the end of one of the videos showing their entries and their choices. Make that a little easier, maybe with their name in there somewhere somehow. If not, I'll verbally announce their names. And if you don't want me to announce your name, please drop me an email stating you don't want me to use your name, and I won't. I respect everybody's privacy. I think that's it. I got an order out to Neiman. It's on its way, buddy. I sent you the tracking information. Me and Jimmy are doing another trade. This will probably be the last trade for quite a while. I think he's pretty much got everything he needs. I definitely do. And until I can figure out precisely what I need, then maybe we'll do some more trading. I definitely like to do that with him. It's fun. We get to communicate. I get to see pictures of his shop and his stash, and he's seen all mine. And he's just an all around great guy and great builder. So I'll be, dude, every night I've worked for an hour to 3 hours every evening on files for this diorama. I hope you guys, I know a lot of you do, so I'm not saying you don't, but I hope a lot of you guys know how much labor intensified this diorama is going to be. I mean, we're talking a dozen, if not more, figures. The play set itself is a file, and it's got kids on the swings. It's got a little girl on a slide. That's a separate file. I've got excuse me, my allergies. God, I can't wait for the first frost. I've got almost every breed of dog. I think I still need to get cat. I had cats and then I lost it somehow. So I gotta go back and find cats. I've got rabbits, chickens, pigeons. Rabbits, chickens, pigeons. I think I do have a cat or two, but I need a couple more different poses. And there's a few other figures that I do need to get. But like I said, you know, this stuff it's pricey. It's like $10 a pop for a figure. Because I think these are made for like 1/10 scale. So I scale everything down. Some of them are scaled perfect, but some of them are, you know, bigger scale. I've even got a statue for the park. There'll be some kind of a water feature in the park. It'll just be a portion of it, not the whole pond or lake or anything like that, but there'll be a portion of it. And so I get to experiment with the wet effects and all that, and the cattails and everything around it. I mean, it's going to be full of deal. I got people to ride in cars. I got little Boy Scouts pulling a wagon. It's one figure, but I printed like 3 different sizes, and I got to cut their arms off and reposition their arms so they're posed a little different. But it's going to be a little group of Cub Scouts walking down the street. There's kids from the park. There's parents. I even got a bus stop shelter that'll sit on the sidewalk next to the park, so people that are catching the bus. And I got a bicycle to lean up against that, and there's a little trash can to go on the other side of it. I've got the little street lights that hang above the street. I got the stop signs. I got all the construction workers working on the road. The truck, I'm going to scratch build the truck. I've got that up here. I need to take it over there. It's like a, I don't know, 29, something like that, Ford pickup truck. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to convert it, big flatbed on the back of it with all the cones stacked up in the back, the barricades I've got, all that stuff I got. There's just key figures that I need to get, and that's, like I said, we're in excess of hundreds of dollars by the time I get that and the landscaping stuff and the balsa wood and all in all. I really should have a Patreon, but maybe a GoFundMe for this diorama. No. We'll get it. We still got some months before we start and months after before we get to those sections. We'll figure it out. I may open up the 3D printing again. This weekend, guys, is the last weekend. If you want anything, you need to get it into me by today, tomorrow at the latest. That gives me a couple days to get it printed, and then get it out to you the first of the week. Because come Wednesday, I won't have any more time after that, and I won't be able to get out and get to the post office to even ship your stuff out. So, Jimmy, I'm probably shipping your stuff out Monday. I'll communicate with you later tonight to let you know about that. And other than that, that's about it. You guys have a great, safe weekend. We'll see you for Mental Monday. Again, let me know what you think about the Buick GSX. The route, I know I kind of flipped it a little bit, the route I'm taking with it. Let me know what you think about it. And I'm going to get off here and get back to work on it. We'll see you guys Monday. This is Russ Roder. I'm out.